Hello, everybody. Welcome to my podcast. My name is Javon Dye, the director, writer, editor, and creator of the horror slasher Alone the South Killer. I'm here today to answer the questions about some of my trials of my movie and what I learned during the process of creating the movie. Um, I created my first movie opening in the environment of my dad's house using my iPhone 13. I focused mainly on achieving a contrapuntal theme, contrasting comedy with horror. However, I had a lot of faults such as camera wobbles, shots were too long, the opening just felt bland and boring as there weren't any interesting shots such as the Dutch angle, extreme close-ups, or even any sort of additional effects added on visual-wise. Um, it was this point where I decided to invest into buying a tripod to combat the camera wobbles in the future, and when I got it, you best believe I invested hours into learning how to use it, because I never had a tripod before, but even after conducting research and having the data to decide my genre, I struggled. I never had a general grasp on what I wanted to do at first. I spent it through multiple scripts, all with varying genres and people and environments, but nothing was concrete. I spent at least 4 weeks just brainstorming and brainstorming continuously. Eat, sleep, brainstorm is what most of my day felt like, and unfortunately, my indecisiveness led me to falling behind a lot in class compared to my peers, which meant I just had to record something at that point. I was very desperate. Um, However, when I landed on my final genre, which was a horror theme, which I decided from my research task as a horror theme was like the highest rated, the highest chosen amongst my peers. I began experimenting with different effects I wanted to learn how to do on CapCut related to the genre. Um, However, I was initially intrigued by the clone effects, and that's just where two of the same people can be seen at once. And that's because the effect was so abnormal and would just fit so well with the genre I chose. Hence, I tried out the clone effect, which I learned how to do from watching a YouTube video. Um, However, I didn't really get the time to add it into my opening, but it was just another one of my effects added to my toolkit, just in case I wanted to include it later in the future. Um, Okay, next on the hologram effect. That's an effect I also got from YouTube, and basically it just shows the phone screen as a low opacity image on the displayed iPhone, so that the audience can see what the user is looking at on the phone while showing the person's face. Um, and finally, the last effect I learned was a killer silhouette, and basically whenever the lights were off, an individual could be seen, but when the lights were on, the killer was gone, and this effect excited me the most because it felt so creepy and spooky. However, I couldn't find a place to realistically fit it into my opening, just like the clone effect, so it was just another effect added to my bag. However, throughout the pre-production stage, I learned how to carefully plan my next move, and I normally have a chaotic approach when doing things because I have a habit of diving headfirst and just improvising along the way, mainly because I prefer to go with the flow, as I believe this makes the opening more natural and it just provides more of a better vibe because we're all learning on the spot, like me and my actors. Um, However, of course, in the film industry, pre-production is the most important stage because you aren't just working individually, like what I'm doing now. Everybody on the team has to know what is going on, how the movie will be shown, how long will the movie be, and what the movie needs to have in terms of costume to fit the mise en scene, and how will the movie look through storyboards. I'm pretty sure you guys listening have also been cascaded with a lot of planning like I had to do. I thought this was obviously one of my weaker aspects that has improved over the development of the movie, but God bless the person who has to look at my storyboard drawings. But back on track, I really like the improvisation that I had to do, especially for my killer's costume. I used what I already had, such as the jacket, shoes, pants, mask, and the glasses to create a Riddler inspired costume. Um, but yeah, as opposed to my first ever movie opening, I had picked up a handful of camera shots from my research, which I included in my final product. And now I can say for certain that my favorite shot just has to be the pan shot. Because when I was in doubt of how to start my movie opening, I used the pan. And when I didn't know how to make a sequence longer, I used the pan. During the process of recording the movie, I built more confidence with using the tripod in terms of knowing how to loosen or tighten any knobs on it to adjust the maneuverability of any movements I wanted to use with it. I also grew my confidence in directing my actors, telling them what to do, and not being afraid to ask my actors to repeat certain shots like a million times. I never heard the end of those grunts from them. I built a lot of discipline because I just did very niche parts of the full product, mainly because every little detail does matter, even if the audience sees it for a split second or may even miss it. But that doesn't stop me from giving every shot in this film the same amount of love, attention, and time. But yeah, that about wraps it up. Thanks so much for having me. I don't want to be babbling on for too long, but don't forget to check out Alone the Sav Killer coming to cinemas on the January 20th, and also follow our Instagram page at GV Studios.